Present what is being spoken of. The pen is mightier than the sword, is metonymy. Metonymy. The crown is the most powerful in my village. Metonymy. The crown is the most powerful in my village. Metonymy. That means the king is the most powerful in my village. Metonymy. We move over to the next one. Euphemism. 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 You use euphemism. You use euphemism in a statement. You use euphemism in a statement when unpleasant things are presented in pleasant form. When things that appear unpleasant are presented in pleasant form. Things that appear unpleasant are presented in pleasant form. Or you can simply put certain things that appear unpleasant are presented in pleasant form. You can simply put a situation whereby harsh expression is presented in a mild form. Expressing those harsh words in mild form. That is euphemism. When you express harsh situations in mild form. Are you following me? Euphemism comes to play when harsh situation. You want to drop a bombshell, a news that appears to be very harsh to the ears. You try to creatively present it in a mild form. That is euphemism. Instead of you to say that somebody is an armed robber, why don't you call him a gentleman of the road? The gentleman of the road is an idiomatic expression for an armed robber, but can also double as euphemism because it sounds mild. It sounds mild. So euphemism is a figure of speech used when harsh situations are presented in mild form, or when unpleasant situations are presented in pleasant form. That is euphemism. Harsh situations are presented in mild form. Unpleasant situations presented in pleasant form. That's euphemism. That's euphemism. Okay. The next one is antithesis. 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 This figure of speech is used. This figure of speech is used. This figure of speech is used This figure of speech is used. Talking about antithesis, this figure of speech is used when two seemingly contradictory expressions, when two opposite expressions When two opposite expressions are placed side by side. When two opposite expressions are placed side by side. This is used when two opposite expressions are placed side by side. When two opposite expressions are placed side by side in a larger expression. When two opposite expressions are placed side by side in a longer expression. That is antithesis. Take note, I did not say two opposite words. Two opposite expressions. Two opposite words is, who can help me? When two opposite words are placed side by side, what do you call it? When two opposite words are placed side by side, what do you call it? Oxymoron. Oxymoron is used when two opposite words are placed side by side. But when two opposite expressions are placed side by side, you call it antithesis. 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 The speaker says a little bit of a lion, a little bit of a lamb. Tough like a tiger, compassionate like a doe. Transparent like a river, mysterious like a lake. When two opposite expressions are placed side by side. Tough like a tiger, one. Compassionate like a doe. Transparent like a river, mysterious like a lake. That's a perfect example of antithesis. What's the first one I gave to you? What's the first one I gave to you in this class? Oxymoron. Oxymoron, I made you to understand that it is used when two opposite words are placed side by side. What's the next one? Apostrophe. People should know that we don't have only one person in this class. Apostrophe. I told you that this one is used when you address things that are not present as though they are present. That is it. What's the third one? Talk loud. What? What's the third one? Simile. Simile. Simile is a figure of speech used when one compares two different things with hidden similarities directly using as, like, seems, or resembles. Yes. That is simile. What's the next one? Metaphor. Very common figure of speech, which is used when we use metaphor when we compare two different things with hidden similarities without using as or like, seems or resemble. And I made you to understand that apart from as or like, seems and resemble are also used to compare. Talk about that in simile. What's the next one? Personification is a figurative device. It's a figurative device used. Personification is a figurative device used when non-humans are given the attributes of human being. When non-humans are given the attributes of human being. When non-humans are given the attributes of human being, that's where personification comes to play. Yes, and I gave this series of examples. When non-humans are given the attributes of human beings, that's when personification comes to play. And I have given you examples. What's the next one? What? Litotes. Now, litotes is a figure of speech, which we also call meiosis. Litotes is used with no, not, or never, plus an adjective to alter its meaning. You add no, not, or never to an adjective to alter its meaning. The statement is, I am a kind person. I am a kind person. Now, you take that adjective kind, change the meaning. I am an unkind person. But they said litotes. It's a figure of speech used when the symbol of something is used to replace the thing itself. When the symbol of something is used to replace the thing itself. When the symbol of something is used to replace the thing itself. When the symbol of something is used to replace the thing itself. That is metonymy. When the symbol of something is used to replace the thing itself. Metonymy is used when you use the symbol of something to replace the thing itself. Yes. If you go to some pharmacies, some hospitals, you won't see their name, but you just see a picture showing a diagram showing a stick, which is like dice itself. That's symbol of wellness, symbol of health. Now, metonymy is a figure of speech when the symbol of something is used to represent the thing itself. Then we'll talk about euphemism. Euphemism. As a figure of speech, euphemism when complete answer. are presented, unpleasant situations are presented in pleasant form. Unpleasant situations are presented in pleasant forms. That is euphemism. Something harsh is presented in a mild form. That is euphemism. Unpleasant situations are presented in pleasant forms. That is euphemism. Unpleasant situations presented in pleasant forms. That's euphemism. Take note. We move to antithesis. As a figure of speech, this is used to show that two opposite groups of words have been brought together, placed them side by side beside each other. We use antithesis when two opposite words are placed, two opposite expressions rather, two opposite statements, two opposite group of words are placed side by side. Two opposite group of words are placed in a statement. Two opposite group of words are placed side by side in
Bluetooth
a
disconnected.
statement. Two opposite group of words are placed side by side in a statement. That is antithesis. Most time I wonder why you guys don't want to know better. You should do better so that things will be flowing smoothly, you know. But if I'm teaching, I don't want your disturbance. I don't want it. I don't. It takes one off balance, you know. I don't want it. I don't want it. All right. Use antithesis as a figure of speech when two opposite group of words are placed side by side in a sentence. So take note of that. Let's move to this part. We take hyperbole.
It's used when there is an overstatement. This figurative device is used when there is overstatement. When there is an overstatement. In this instance,
This figurative device is used when there is an overstatement. This figurative device is used to lay emphasis in order to drive your point home. In order to drive your point home.
you try to overstate.
In order to drive your point home. You tend to exaggerate. You tend to overstate. In order to drive your point home. That is hyperbole. Do something like the death of his friend made him fill up the drums in the house with his tears. The death of his friend made him fill up all the drums in the house with his tears. I'm trying to show how pain he was when the friend died. He felt a whole lot of pain because of the death or demise of his friend. And he shed tears. And he cried. The death of his friend made him fill up all the drums in the house with his tears. That is an overstatement. No matter how you cry, you cannot fill 6 drums with your tears.
Drum with your tears.
Although maybe Elizabeth can do that, but
Although maybe Elizabeth can do that.
I don't know how possible. Although she can.
I don't know how possible. Although she
Can fill up 6 drums with your tears.
6 drums with your tears.
Okay. The death of his friend made him fill up all the drums in the house with his tears. So look at that. That is hyperbole. We have synecdoche.
We have synecdoche.
Synecdoche. Synecdoche. As a figurative device, synecdoche is a figure of speech used. It's a figurative device. Synecdoche is a figure of speech used when a part of something is used to represent the whole of it. When a part of something is used to represent the whole of it. Synecdoche is a figure of speech used when a part of something is used to represent the whole of it. And the whole of something used to represent just a fragment, a part of it. Synecdoche is a figure of speech used when a part of something represents the whole, and the whole represents the part as well. That is synecdoche. Using a part to represent a whole, and a whole to represent a part. Synecdoche. Using a part to represent a whole, and a whole to represent a part. That is synecdoche. Using a part to represent a whole, and a whole to represent a part. That is synecdoche. Take note. Synecdoche is a figure of speech used when a part of something is used to represent the whole of it. Take note of that. Then in literature, there's something we call regular pattern. Regular pattern. When a poet has, when a work of art, especially poetry, has regular pattern. We're trying to say that there is uniformity in that work. We're trying to prove that there is uniformity in that work. Go to what's this poem? By John Donne. There are lots of poems. By the time you see them, stanza 1 has 7 lines. The same number of syllables. Beautiful rhyme scheme. Stanza 2, 7 lines. The same number of syllables. Beautiful rhyme scheme. Stanza 3, 7 lines. The same number of syllables. Beautiful rhyme scheme. That is a good example of regular pattern. See it? Not that stanza 1 we have 4 syllables. Stanza 2 we have 8 syllables. Stanza 3 we have 5 syllables. No, that's not regular. It must be uniform. It must be fine. See that? Poetic, different literary terms. Different literary terms. That's what we are trying to see right now. Different literary terms. Different literary terms. Different literary terms. And if you check, we have dramatic terms, we have narrative terms, we have poetic terms, and we have the general literary terms. See that? Now, we have the next one, stressed syllables. Stressed syllables. Stressed syllables. Stressed syllables. For you to have a very complete knowledge of stress in literature, then you have to understand what to mean by foot. It is only when we discuss foot, that's when we know, that's when we talk about stress. When we discuss foot, we talk about stress. When we discuss foot, we talk about stress. Now, what are stressed syllables? Stressed syllables are the units in a word of more than one syllable. The unit, the parts of that word that receives emphasis during pronunciation, that receives the force during pronunciation. That is the stressed syllable. The parts of a word that receives emphasis, during pronunciation. The part that receives emphasis during pronunciation. The part where you lay the emphasis during pronunciation. The part that you tend to part that sounds higher than the other parts. That is the part that receives stress. For instance, look at this. Conclusion. Conclusion. You can see that. Conclusion. This type of foot now is called amphibrush. Amphibrush. The amphibrush foot has an unstressed syllable, followed by a stressed syllable, and an unstressed syllable. So the stressed syllable is the part that has a kind of high pitch that receives force during pronunciation. The part that increase your tempo during pronunciation, the part that increase the sound during pronunciation. Conclusion. Conclusion. That is it. The stressed syllable is the part that receives you strength into during pronunciation. The part that you push strength into during pronunciation. That is the stressed syllable. Meaning that the parts that you do not push your strength into is called the unstressed syllable. For instance, con. Look at this con. There is no. Yes. These two are unstressed syllables. See it. When you look at the word unite, you will see that the stressed syllable is the right syllable, while the unstressed syllable is the left syllable. You see that? No, because this is a verb. The verb of two syllables receives stress on the right side. on the second syllable. But a noun of two syllables receives stress on the first or left syllable. So that is it. Right. So we have done stress and unstressed syllable. The first syllable is the one that receives force, the one that you apply force to. You apply force to read while you are pronouncing. But the unstressed one remains calm. The unstressed one does not receive that force. The unstressed one, pronunciation remains flat. Pronunciation remains calm. That is unstressed and stressed. Now, if you are reading words you need to write, there's a way the poet select the word. The choice of word. They work on stress and unstressed as well. Stress and unstressed syllables to do their job. Then you move on to rhyme. Rhyme. What is rhyme? Rhyme is the resemblance of sounds in lines of poetry. Rhyme is the resemblance of sounds in lines of poetry. Rhyme is the resemblance of sounds in lines of poetry. That is rhyme. Rhyme is the look-alike of sounds in lines of poetry. Rhyme is the look-alike of sounds in lines of poetry. It is the similarity of sounds in lines of poetry. Rhyme comes to play when sound in lines of poetry sound alike. If they don't sound alike, don't bother to give yourself problem. There is no rhyme. But when they sound alike, then look for it. Look for the rhyme. Look at it very well. Whenever they ask you any question based on rhyme, definitely the poem has rhyme. Nobody will ask you a question on rhyme when there is no rhyme in the poem. So, once again, rhyme is the correspondence of sound, the resemblance of sound, the look-alike of sound in lines of poetry. One of the types of rhyme we have high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I wonder what you are. What up above there, what's so high, like a diamond in the sky. Can see that. Sunset. And evening. I want clear call for me.